The village of Okawa was silent under the weight of the night. A strong harmattan wind blew dust over the thatched roofs, making the trees whisper among themselves. In one small, crumbling hut at the edge of the village, Baba and Mama Ijeoma sat on their wooden stools, their eyes heavy with sorrow. Their only daughter, Ijeoma, had not come home for 2 nights. Baba Ijeoma wiped sweat from his wrinkled forehead, even though the night was cold. Mama Ijeoma, I warned her. I told her this path she is walking will bring destruction, he muttered. His voice was thick with pain. Mama Ijeoma, her face hardened by years of suffering, let out a shaky sigh. She never listens, always pressing that phone, chatting with those boys. She doesn't know the ways of the world, but we do. Ijeoma was unlike the other girls in the village. While they wore simple wrappers and headscarves, she dressed in tight jeans and flashy tops. She spent hours on her mobile phone, talking to boys from different towns. Her beauty turned heads, but her actions brought shame to her parents. And now, she was missing. The villagers whispered. Some said she ran away with a man. Others said she had been taken by spirits. But Baba and Mama Ijeoma feared the worst. Days passed. No sign of Ijeoma. No calls. No messages. The old couple stopped eating. They sat in front of their hut, staring at the dusty path, hoping she would return. But she never did. One morning, Baba Ijeoma slumped to the ground. His breath left him like the last flicker of a dying flame. That evening, Mama Ijeoma followed, her heart unable to carry the weight of grief. The villagers buried them in the same grave, side by side. 2 weeks later, Ijeoma returned. She was thinner, her once radiant skin now dull. She stood in front of the hut, staring at the empty stools where her parents used to sit. Tears ran down her face as she listened to the whispers of the villagers. They are gone, Ijeoma. They died waiting for you, she wailed. She fell to her knees, begging the earth to return them. But the dead do not listen. From that moment, Ijeoma changed. She stopped dressing in flashy clothes. She threw away her phone. She spent her days sitting by their grave, whispering apologies. But peace never came. Then, one cold night, she was found dead on the same dusty path she had once walked so carelessly. No one knew how she died. Some said she took her own life. Others said her parents' spirits had called her to join them. The villagers buried her beside them. But Ijeoma's suffering did not end in death. At night, strange cries echoed from her grave. Footsteps were heard in the darkness, though no one was there. Some said they saw her shadow wandering near the hut, holding a phone that did not ring. And in the wind, when the night was silent, the villagers swore they could hear her voice, whispering, Baba, Mama, forgive me, please forgive me. But the dead do not answer, and Ijeoma's soul never found rest.